The Sewers, an allegory for the magical community, written and read by Foolish Fish. The village's founders couldn't have found a worse location if they'd tried. At the time, the choice had seemed, on the contrary, very fortunate. The estuary had been quite idyllic, the views unmarred. Then had come the trucks, and the mouth of the first sewer, spewing filth from inland, bringing stench and disease. Soon after, another sewer mouth, this one from the south, turning the water a sickly yellow that made the trees turn to rot. After a third sewer mouth had brought further pestilence and corrosion, a fourth and a fifth were laid, and more until the tranquil estuary village had been dubbed by neighbouring villages the Pit of Hell. Generation after generation, the villagers had learnt to pick out a living from the filth sewers spewed. Here a discarded shoe that could easily be cleaned up, there a rusty fork that might be melted for ore. It was an unpleasant existence, but existence nonetheless. It so happened that many miles away, the king of the land had recently learnt of the villagers' plight, and being a good king, he took pity upon them. "My coffers are brimming with gold and precious stones," he thought to himself. "Every day more comes to me until I no longer know what to do with it all. It would make no difference to me if I sent them some of my treasure through one of the sewers, and it would help them greatly." And so it was that 20 of the king's men were set to work night and day for a week, pouring gold and diamonds, rubies and sapphires into the sewer. Later on that day, many miles downstream in the ill-fortuned village, a girl who had been playing in the sewage noticed an object gleaming in the sunlight. As she stooped down to observe it more closely, she realized that it was a beautiful golden bracelet, heavily beset with precious stones, all intricately chiseled and engraved, and of the very finest craftsmanship. She quickly ran back to her family with the prized object, and after washing off the noisome waste that still sullied it, it became obvious to all that this was a gift of great worth, the likes of which had in fact never been imagined, let alone seen in the village. Soon more cries were heard. A pouch containing 25 gold pieces had been found. And what was this? A silver plate, a diamond ring, necklaces of turquoise and amber. More and more treasures. The cries of joy came fast and loud. "Where are these treasures coming from?" asked the villagers. The people soon found an answer that satisfied them. Sewer mouth number 23 was spitting out new treasures every minute. People gathered round and filled pockets, buckets, wheelbarrows full of precious metals and stones, enough to enrich themselves and their families for several generations. News of the miraculous fountain spread fast. People the world over wanted a piece of the miraculous treasure, and were happy to pay a great amount for it. Now, in a neighbouring village there lived 3 brothers. The eldest brother was the mayor of the town, the middle brother was a wealthy merchant, and the youngest was a poor street artist. When they heard of the miraculous fountain of treasures, they decided to saddle their horses to visit the fabulous location. The eldest brother, the mayor, was the first to plunge his hand into the stream of sewage that spewed from the 23rd sewer and retrieve the rotting remains of a dead fish. Surprised, a little repulsed, but delighted that he had acquired his own loot from the famous 23rd sewer, he wrapped the unseemly remains carefully in a handkerchief and rowed it back home. There he had a pedestal built for it in the entrance of the town hall for all to have a chance to see and admire his precious treasure. The second brother, the merchant, plunged his hand into the flow of sewage next and retrieved a silver snuff-box beset with jewels of many colours. But the precious item was covered in sewage and smelt revolting, and so the second brother, repulsed by the odour, threw the box back into the flow and ran off, certain that he'd been duped, and vowing to use any influence that he had with his rich and powerful connections to have the 23rd sewer that had offended him so badly blocked off. The third brother, the street artist, had come prepared, with a glove that covered his hand and arm up to his shoulder. He pushed his hand deep into the flow of sewage. It was some time before he retrieved his well-protected hand, his glove dripping with toxic waste, but a fine wine goblet of the purest gold grasped tightly between his fingers. Of course, the goblet was badly soiled and barely recognizable under all the gunk, but he rubbed it with his sleeve and saw instantly how beautifully decorated it was, with fine engravings all around and rubies studding the stem. He ran with it back to his horse and rode home as fast as he could, to wash the precious object properly so that he might use it. There we are, a little allegory that I wrote for you there. I hope you find an aspect of it at least that speaks to you, and of course, as always with allegories, I hope at the very least that you got a little entertainment value out of it. Please do take a moment to hit the like button if you've enjoyed it, as that's always extremely helpful. And if you haven't done so already, another really helpful thing you can do to show your appreciation is to click on the red subscribe button down below. And then whether you click on the little bell button to get shown my videos on your YouTube homepage as soon as they're published really is an added bonus. Just by the way, of course, there's also this whole community of like-minded magic practitioners that you might be interested to learn more about, all sharing ideas and helping each other out on the Foolish Fish Discord server, which is one of the perks of being a Foolish Fish member. And you can find the details about how to become a member for as little as $2 a month down in the description, as well as full instructions on how to access the Discord server. As always, my deepest gratitude goes out to every one of you for taking the time to watch, and especially to the members who make this channel sustainable. I really appreciate your support so much, and hopefully this video will be of at least some use to you. Thanks again everyone for your time, and see you very soon with another video.